Blessed morning, children. Welcome back to our social class. So, children, today we are going to start a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is the Chinese Civilization, and this is lesson number 4 in history. So, what were the previous chapters? We have learned from the beginning about the Mesopotamian civilization, next the Egyptian civilization, and the last one was the Indus Valley civilization, right? And now we are learning about the Chinese civilization. Okay, now let's start the lesson. So first we are going to see the introduction about the Chinese civilization. Okay, so around 1800 BCE. What is BCE? Before Common Era. Okay, a civilization arose in China along the river Huanghe. So children, we have been seeing about all the river valley civilizations. Okay, and we have discussed about the Tigris and the Euphrates river, river Nile, and what was the last river? River Indus. Yes, now we are discussing about river Huanghe. Okay, so this river provided water for cultivation of crops. So Huanghe is also called as the sorrow of China. Okay, what do you mean by sorrow? Sorrow means sadness, something bad, isn't it? So they are calling it so because it often changed its course. What is course? The way of moving. Okay. After floods and destroying crops and the irrigation canals. So despite this, the ancient Chinese depended heavily on Huanghe. Okay. In spite of all these things, people depended heavily on which river? River Huanghe. Okay, children. So from this first paragraph, what did we understand? River Huanghe is called as the sorrow of China, and people, if it is also giving lot of troubles, what they are doing? They are depending heavily on this river. So children, there are two dynasties here. Okay, dynasties means kingdom. So the Shang dynasty united a major part of China under one ruler, and the Zhou dynasty succeeded the Shangs in the 12th century BCE. So it ruled till the 3rd century BCE, and many more dynasties followed, and each of them contributed to the progress of the Chinese civilization. So in this map, can you see the kingdom there? So first in the Shang dynasty, it was very little. Next, see the Zhou dynasty. The kingdom is expanded, isn't it? Yes. Now let's see about the society, ancient society of the Chinese civilization. So next we are going to discuss about the society. So the king held the highest position in the society. Okay, and before the king was an emperor. Okay, emperor and king, you have difference. Okay, children, emperor means he rules over the big territory, and next to the emperor only king will be coming. Okay, so the king held the highest position, and then came the nobles who assisted the king. Next to them were the merchants, craftsmen, and farmers. And farmers formed the bulk of the population, and at the bottom were the slaves. Okay, and what about their family? People lived in small clans, and family was a very important unit. And the head of the family was highly respected, and children respected their elders. And the Chinese also venerated their ancestors. That means worshipped their ancestors. Okay. Next we are going to see about religion. So about religion, you have people worship the forces of nature, like such as air, water, like that. Okay, and ancestor worship was common. So you all know what is ancestor. Okay, and it was believed that after death, a human being turned into a powerful soul which had to be worshipped. So you can also see many of the people worshipping their forefathers and mothers, isn't it, children? We also worship, and we also tell that they have attained some empowerment, isn't it? They have reached God's feet, isn't it, children? Yeah. And the oracles and priests were highly respected, and the priests were believed to be in close touch with the gods, and people who wanted to know their future consulted the priest. So later many people accepted Confucianism and Taoism as their religion. So what is that Confucianism and Taoism? So the philosophy preached by Confucius, a famous thinker and a preacher. Okay, he's a great man. Okay, that is called as Confucianism. Next one is Taoism. So it is the philosophy based on the teachings of Lao Tzu, who lived a little before Confucius. Okay. Next we are going to discuss about occupation. So next we are going to discuss about occupation and trade in China. So on the occupation, first we'll be discussing about agriculture. So a majority of people practiced agriculture in China, and a vast irrigation network helped to increase the crop production. And rice, wheat, barley, sorghum, millets, soybean and tea are the main crops. And the Chinese were the first to cultivate tea. Do you know, children? Yes. So initially tea leaves were used as medicine, and later tea became as a popular drink. And for many centuries China was the only source of tea for the rest of the world. So what we do, we put milk in it, we put sugar in it and do a lot of work in it, isn't it, children? So we should not drink tea like that. Okay, only that essence of the leaves we have to have. Okay, next we are going to discuss about sericulture. So the Chinese were the first to make silk. So your mother will be having beautiful silk sarees, isn't it? So they reared silkworms on mulberry trees, and the weavers wove cloth from the threads. And the Chinese silk was famous all over the world, and for a long time it remained as the chief item, main item of export. Okay. And next about the metal work. So the Chinese craftsmen was specialized in this, and bronze casting was highly developed, and people made beautiful statues, weapons and bronze vessels decorated with figures of animals and dragons, and they also knew iron smelting. Okay. And the last topic will be pottery making and woodwork. So the Chinese made beautiful glazed pottery from porcelain, and they crafted a lot of items such as vases, jars, cups, saucers and bowls, and these vessels are called Chinaware. Okay, and they had a glossy surface and were decorated with pictures and other colorful designs. And the next one, the famous thing is about woodwork. So China was rich in timber. Timber is nothing but wood. So the timber was used to construct buildings, and the palace walls were made of polished wood. So the Chinese also crafted beautiful objects of wood inlaid with ivory. You have seen what is ivory? Yes, the elephant's trunk white color thing. No, that is only ivory. Okay. So next about trade. China had trade relations with Egypt, Mesopotamia, Persia and India. And the caravans were used for trade, and silk, Chinaware, tea and paper were the main items of export. Okay, this is about occupation and trade in China. So next we are going to discuss about the major achievements. So children, what are the achievements of this Chinese civilization? So the Great Wall of China. So you can see the picture in the background, isn't it? So this is a great architectural feat of the Chinese, and it was built in the 3rd century BCE to keep the northern borders safe from tribal attacks. And the Great Wall of China is about 8,850 kilometers long, and it runs over mountains, plains and desert, different landforms. Okay, and there are nearly 10,000 watchtowers spread across the entire length of the wall, and soldiers lived in these towers, kept a watch on enemy activities. So they used to see from there who's getting inside the territory and like that. And the Chinese also built many pagodas. What are the pagodas? Pagodas here means temples. Okay, they were temples where followers of Buddhism prayed, and the pagodas were decorated with beautiful sculptures. Next, in the field of science, the Chinese contributed to almost all branches of science, and they used both solar and lunar calendars, and they could predict eclipses and appearance of comets. And they also invented the seismograph to record earthquakes, and some of the Chinese inventions were the magnetic compass, the gunpowder, the wheelbarrow, umbrella and the kite. So now let's see them. So children, observe this screen. Here you are having some Chinese inventions. Can you name the inventions? Magnetic compass, which is used in the ancient times. Okay. kite, dragon kite, which is very famous in China, wheelbarrow, seismograph, and umbrella. So umbrella, it was invented by China. Okay. So children, look at the Chinese script. Okay, this is in the form of pictures, and each picture represents a word or an idea, and the script is written from top to bottom. And being a difficult script, education remained the privilege of a selected few, and literacy did not spread among the masses. And the Chinese wrote on bamboo plates and animal bones and on a silk cloth with a brush made of camel hair. Okay, and it made the writing look like a painting. And later the Chinese began to write on paper. And the civilization that developed in China was very advanced, and it contributed to the progress of humankind. Okay. So children, now let's discuss some objectives and then we'll end up the session. Okay. So first, page number 38. Roman letter A, tick the correct answers. The Chinese civilization came up along which river? It is river Huanghe, option C. Number 2. They were believed to be close to the gods. Who? This the priest, option A. Third question. This was occupation of the majority of people. Thank you children. Have a great day. Take care and be safe children.